Aloha, I'm Daynin Dashefsky, and joining me today is a very good friend, Johnny Ramirez, owner of New Breed Jiu-Jitsu out of Santa Fe Springs, California. And what are we going to show him today?
We're going to cover the bow and arrow.
Yeah, I specifically asked him to do this technique with me because he showed me the reversal, which can I show the reversal after?
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And I teach it to all my students, and I think it's so cool. That's why I love doing this job. You learn constantly. So we're going to start with the bow and arrow. We're going to start with that. So I have you sit in front of me. Okay. So again, once we get bow and arrow, or once we attack a bow, we want to start in your simple seatbelt position. Now, I specifically like my hand that's under the arm on the bottom. Some people prefer to have this hand on top because that way, if he tries to pull this hand off, I'll have you normally, yeah, if I have it this way, they'll pull that hand off and then, I lose it. So people don't like to do that, but I do because I use this hand to grab this collar, which I'll show you in a minute. So a lot of times people do this in order for that not to happen. So it's just understanding preference of what you're doing. So I'm gonna start like this, and I'm gonna take this bottom sleeve, and I'm gonna, what I call ratcheting. I'm gonna climb up, and I'm using the blade of my hand to work up under his chin. So, and you notice I'm not letting this hand go while I do it. It's the movement of this hand is automatically gonna make my hand go like this. So I grab the collar, and then I start climbing up, and I climb up, climb up, climb up, climb up. And then once I get him over, I'm gonna back slap his head over to my shoulder, accessing his neck and putting my thumb over his neck so it's nice and tight, sticking my thumb out, putting the collar over it, and then now I got a good tight grip here to start with. Then I'm gonna pull this hand out. I'm gonna grab the bottom of his knee, the material on the bottom of his knee. Now, a lot of people will tend to throw themselves back and lay back, but then when I go back, I'm kind of losing my position. I actually like to stay seated. So I've got the choke here, I'm grabbing here. I just like to lean back a little bit, enough for me to throw my foot over the shoulder. I like to stay seated. It's just for me, it's a preference. I don't like lying back and losing control. Then I'm gonna slowly pull until I get that choke, and that's our bow and arrow. Okay, so one more time, a little from this angle, just so they can see a little bit this way, okay? So now, again, I start in the seat belt, and I'm gonna grab this collar under it. Now, it's real loose right now, so I'm gonna crawl up, ratcheting my wrist to get under his chin, and now I got his chin, pushing his head over onto my shoulder, putting my thumb over his neck where I'm actually touching his neck. Now I'm gonna place the collar over the thumb and get my nice solid grip. Now the choke starts off nice and tight. Pull this hand out, grab the bottom material of his knee, and now I'm gonna push him down and put my foot over his shoulder and slowly push, and I got my bow and arrow. Now, I just love this, what Johnny taught me. It's when people do hold their hand this way, you have the risk of losing this hand when they push it off. So now he's gonna try to push that hand off, and instead of fighting it, when I feel that the pressure is really tight, I'm gonna actually scoop around and trap my own leg, and I'm gonna use my hand as a foot hook. I'm not gonna leave it down where it can slide out. I'm gonna hook it up, or I'm actually hooking it under my own thigh. So now his arm is trapped. Can you get it out? So now, as they're freaking out because now their arm is trapped, I quickly remove my hand and bring it over, and now I'm going under the collar on this side. Okay, so we'll show that one more time. I'm holding it here. You start to pull my hand off, and then as it gets right in the right timing, I'm gonna scoop my own hand and trap my hand in there. And now his hand can't move. And at the same time, I'm coming under here and getting his neck because he's too busy focusing on that arm trap. Now, I don't want to just bring my hand out and grab here. He's gonna pull his arm out. So I'm gonna keep the pressure on my elbow down, not letting that arm come up. I'm keeping it connected to me, reaching down, grabbing the pants, putting my hand over the shoulder. Now I'm gonna use this leg to push him back to the other side, and then reverse the bow and arrow on this side. Oops, sorry about that. So it's basically just reversing it to the other side. So one more time. I'm here, I ratchet up, I get the nice collar. Oh no, he's gonna escape. So he's gonna escape, he's gonna pull, and then I'm gonna trap my own arm. It's immediately coming out and trapping his arm, keeping the pressure on that back, sorry about the shoulder, and grabbing the bottom of the leg. Pulling, I can even from here pull him down to this side, trap, and then pull back and get that tap. Okay. So that's the reverse bow and arrow, which everyone I've ever showed that, they're like, wow, I love it.
Good.
I think it's so awesome. And that's the beauty of Jiu-Jitsu. No matter how long you've been in this, no matter how long you've been a black belt, you're always going to learn something new. It never ends, does it?
Never. All the time.
I tell you. Anyway, thanks for joining us.